Okay, welcome back everybody. I'm your trainer, Ajoy Cena. Today's unit will be Enhanced Customer Service Experiences. The unit code is SITXCCS007. You guys will be free to pause the video at any moment. As the recording will go on, I will pause for the activities throughout the PowerPoint. So today we'll go through all of the slides. When you guys finish the activity, come back to the video and we will continue on. So let's get started. So we're going to be going to talk about essentially customer service, how we can make it better, how we can improve day by day. So 1.1 is determine and confirm customer preferences, needs and expectations. So you're essentially thinking about what do they want from you at wherever you're conducting business. So you're thinking about what's the level of quality that they're looking for, what sort of product they're looking for, what accompanies that product. So essentially if you're thinking about food, okay, how do we make what's going to come with the food? So the beverages, okay, the display, or the way we transport food from one place to the other, such as places who sell sushi. They do a sushi train from the kitchen to the customers, where most of the service staff will not really have too much contact unless they're taking the bill or they're taking away the plates to count the bill. So it really depends on the customer and how you want to design your customer service experience. So when you're talking about the preference, needs, expectations, like I was saying before, you're thinking about the price, what sort of exact specifications that we're trying to sell with the product, if we need to have some sort of warranty, or if we're giving our guarantee, if we're considering any delivery, or if there are problems, what's the return policy, or how would we mend that to fix the problem that comes with the product as we sell it at one consistency and then it might not be at that level. So how do we improve that? So for services, you're looking at the price, how long it's going to be, the quality that you're kind of going to give to the person, what sort of value it holds, and how much expertise it needs. So if it needs a lot of skilled people, it will be costing you a lot more. So essentially you're giving more value compared to something that's low cost, needs less expertise on the product. So essentially you can price it a bit less, it's more approachable for more customers compared to something that's really more expensive. Okay, so when we're talking about activity 1, this is more of, I want you to explain what you've done in the activity. So with another member of your class, role-playing interaction. So this is where, if you were doing this online, you'd conduct with another person in your Zoom class, and if you're face-to-face, obviously you're going to do it physically. So if you're returning back later on, you can do this later on and then complete your learner workbook within that time frame. So determine and confirm the customer's preference, needs and expectations in relation to your product and service. So if you were teaming up with someone else, as our background is mostly hospitality in cookery, maybe you want to consider a food product or consumable and then ask the person what sort of expectations they have. Is it takeaway, price range, time frame, what sort of value that you're producing, quantity, in our case as well. So think about, does it require a expert sommelier for somebody who's selling expensive wine? They need that knowledge base to describe to the consumer what this wine will pair with, why is it so exquisite, what's the origin of the wine, things like that. So you really need to ask each other as you go along what your product. So pick a product and then ask each other what the expectations are in that list. Just follow those key points, those 5 key points, and then just answer each other's questions. Pick the item and then go from there. Alright, 1.2, advise customers about appropriate products and services to meet their needs. So, this is all about really guiding your customers. Sometimes people come in, they don't really know what to do, what to get, what they want. So the money's there. As long as you know the money's there, let's guide them to the appropriate thing that really will satisfy them. In my business, I will ask, what is really going to fix or address their issues. Do they want something specific? Okay, what are they feeling like today? Spicy. I give them hints of flavor, give them texture, crunchy, sweet, savory, things like that. And then once you take in those little suggestions from them, you can kind of cater their order to them. So when you're advising on products and services, you want to detail the range of available options that you have, specifications of products, what is included in the service packages, optional extras that they can add to the order, product compatibility in the sense of will one go with the next. If you're thinking about the automotive industry, okay, will a wheel alignment go with a interior upholstery job compared to, if you're doing a wheel alignment, you might get new suspension shock absorbers or get brake pads. So those things are more in line than having an upholstery business and a brakes and discs business in the same place of business. What represents good value for money? Think about what they will feel like that they've won. Most people don't really like to feel cheated, so you want to make sure that they are happy with their ultimate end product and they're feeling like they haven't been cheated out of money and sold something that they're not really going to be using. When we're thinking about product specifications, in certain cases you're thinking about screen size. If you're thinking about a TV, the resolution, high definition, speakers, the frame rate, is it smart TV, the internet connectivity, does it support 3D, right? So in our case, if we're talking about food, we're thinking about how much is the service quantity. How long did it take us to procure the product? How expensive it is? Does it cater to a specific requirement for their dietary needs? So is it gluten-free? Is it animal product free? Things like that. What's the price? Will it be enough for the portion that they need to consume? So things like that. Okay. So for service packages, we're thinking about the duration of service. Number of staff provided, for that customer, the venue, how big or small it is, the requirements for the customer, how many people the service is for. So if it's a table of 8, do you have the space? How much is it going to cost you to separate 2 or 3 tables to give them enough space? What products are included in the service? If you're doing a function for 40 people, is everybody going to get a 3-course meal? Are they going to get drinks, beverages, open bar, things like that you're going to have to consider on to the ultimate price point. You need to find the middle ground where you're not losing money. Yes, it's good to make customers happy, and you can only do it so far to where it's not a loss. Maybe you can go the extra mile. You've got people, make sure that they're talking to customers, asking their needs, but it's not, you're hiring one person and then leaving that person out of the ultimate price point for the customer is a loss to your business. because now you have to pay them out of pocket. So you're thinking about, do they want anything extra afterwards, and are you going to charge them for it? And if you don't, be prepared to take that out of your own pocket. Alright, so activity 1B, identify at least 3 products or service packages that are offered by your company. For each that you have identified, identify the product specification. Okay, so in this case, this is talking about technology. So it's talking about a laptop. It's really telling me about what type of options it has. So the USB ports, the storage, how big the screen is, the amount of warranty, and what sort of operating system. So now that's the example on how you want to write out your product. So you want to identify 3 products. So if it's our case, we're really talking about the food industry. Pick, let's say, 1 beverage. You want to talk about its consistency, the taste, the price point, the temperature, things like that. So if I was saying, Victoria Bitter would be 1 standard schooner, maybe 20% alcohol. What else? $8. Or you can purchase 2 for $10, let's say. So that's kind of the key features of that. So now for each service package that you have identified, identify all its components. For example, party package A includes. Okay, so you need to kind of think about if we were going to package food. So in my case, let's say I might package a rice dish with a curry and maybe drinks, dessert. So we're doing a set course meal. If we're thinking about McDonald's, you're thinking about French fries, a burger or a wrap, and a cold drink. You could add nuggets as an optional extra, things like that. So in this example, they've given dinner for 15 guests, 1 birthday cake which serves 15 helium balloons, 2 members of staff for 4 hours, choice of blue room or red room, so meaning as in the venue, choice of entertainment option A, B or C for 1 hour, optional bouncy castle hire. So you could have entertainment as DJ, band, or maybe a dance group, whatever it might be. Okay, so yeah, why do you need to know product specifications or service package details in order to advise customers? The more it's common sense here. The more knowledge you have, they want to see you prepared. When the customer comes in through the door, they don't want you to race around and ask different people. They want you to know. If you're the first place of contact, they want you to know, and they will get confidence from you knowing everything. So even if, let's say, you don't know and you need to go and get in touch with someone, it kind of doesn't reassure the customer. So the more you know about all aspects of your business, the customer feels like, yes, this guy knows what he's talking about, the business is prepared. As you are prepared, it reflects good on the business itself, that they're training you to know all these details to assist customers. So it grows confidence within them, and then you hopefully have a returning customer. They come back to you to solve any of their future problems. So when you answer that, unpause the video, come back to me, and we can move on to the next one. So 1.3, anticipate customer preferences, needs and expectations throughout the service experience. So if we're thinking about, if we've got a customer in our hotel, okay, if they're going to be staying for 2 weeks, I'm sure one of the days they might need room service. So it's definitely something that you might want to outline and really define to the customer, look, I know you're going to be here for a long time. Maybe you might decide to stay in for a day and not really travel the city. So we've got these food options that you hear. If you want, we can schedule it for you on a specific time, or if you call this number, we can definitely have it ready for you in under 20 minutes or 30 minutes and delivered to your room. So it's just understanding what your customer needs. So consider, is it compatible? Is it related to what you're kind of trying to sell or already sold to the customer? Is the item modern? Is it related to, you know, the existing product that they're using? Do you have any deals or offers, and does it really fit their budget? If it's something that's too expensive, you know, there's no point in kind of putting them in an awkward position and shaming them that they can't afford it just by mentioning, oh, just $1,000 extra will get you this, but that $1,000 extra might already be out of their budget. So some couples might come to a very 5-star expensive hotel, and that's their holiday, and that's already out of their price range, but they're hitting that level of, you know, they want that service. It's kind of a treat for them. So you need to understand where they're coming from, you know, respect what their abilities and their purchasing power is. Alright, so activity 1C, describe an interaction you have had with a customer where you have had to anticipate their preferences, needs, expectations. How did you do this? In your current role, what are some techniques you can use to anticipate customer preferences, needs, and expectations? So these two questions are related. So think about you know, what you're going to be doing as a chef. You're really thinking about their food allergies, if they've never been here before, really educating them on what type of food you sell, asking them about if they have any religious, you know, requirements that they have to follow with food. And if you don't follow that yourself, where can they, if they're new to the country, they're going to be really happy that you're telling them, look, I don't sell halal food, but I do know where somebody else does, and that's the closest, maybe a kilometer away. And you know, it's better not to make $1 today, but that customer might recommend somebody to come to you, as you've treated them fairly and you haven't really cheated them out of a product. So you're really having to break down this question, you know, look at the preferences. So what type of food they want, what do they need, and what are they expecting, the price points, things like that. Okay, so talk about, you know, when you were a cook, you came out of the kitchen, you talked about what you're selling, what's the special of the day, or what's really going to be quick to come out of the kitchen, what's ready, what's not. If you've got something special up your sleeve that you're willing to offer them, okay, things like that. Alright, so techniques, you know, you're using active listening, you're suggesting when it's appropriate, you're not really talking over the customer, you're allowing them to express themselves, and then you would give them a return answer depending on if you can or cannot really address their needs. Alright, so answer this. Include all your answers in those two questions, and then once you've done that, unpause the video and come back and we can continue on to the next one. Okay, so hopefully you guys have finished those. 1.4, promptly provide products and services with professional and personalized service to meet individual preferences. So this is really about picking up on specific hints or key, you know, suggestions of the customer's, you know, needs. So if you're thinking, okay, there's 2 people, why? Is there something special? So maybe if you're getting a booking for 2 and it's a special time of the year, near Valentine's Day or near Christmas or things like that, you need to pick up certain key little hints. So okay, that's 2 people. Oh, would you like this upgraded honeymoon suite? Or okay, we have a couple's meal deal, or couple set menu, or this is a special offer for a 2-person banquet, things like that. You're picking up on key or you're suggesting at least something that would make them a bit more happier, and it may bring in a bit more revenue into the pocket of the business or into your pockets. So professional service, so you want to be attentive to the customer, you want to have patience. If they're trying to describe, you don't want to rush away. You want to be respectful for their needs and, you know, their habits, and always have courtesy. Be calm when you're dealing with them. Be adaptable, meaning, you know, if you're having to do certain things, don't shy away from them. If you need to guide them to somebody who is better skilled at that, you know, you're able to do so, and as long as it's making them happy, I think it shouldn't be a problem. Being helpful at all times. Let's say, you know, if they need some help with their baggage, or if they need a place to dispose their child's nappy, you know, making sure, okay, I'll grab a plastic bag for you, and we can dispose of that right away. And always being knowledgeable. So, you know, knowing your business in and out will really help your customers feel confident within your service, that you know what you're doing. The less experienced and less knowledgeable you seem, the more they will feel, you know, less confident in the product that you're trying to give them. So it's always helpful to really understand where and what your business is trying to provide, what sort of products, you know, who's your customer base, all those kind of things. Alright, 1D, how can you ensure that your service is professional? So if I was asked that, I would have a specific set of procedures when a customer would come in, and they would always expect them to, you know, have the same sort of experience every time that they come in. There are concept restaurants around the world where you get paid to be rude to customers, and let's say if one day you were nice to them, yes, that's good, but you aren't getting paid to be nice. You're getting paid to scream at them, and it's a really experience-based restaurant where, you know, you're getting paid to be rude. So you're not really being professional by being nice, because the concept of that business is that you have to be rude. So I know it's an odd thing to get your head around, but so how can you ensure that your service is professional? Having it consistent, you know, making sure you're knowledgeable, making sure you're able to help the customer, listen to the customer, be attentive, things like that. Okay. How can you ensure that your service is personal? So you're really looking at those hints, like I was saying before. If it's two people, ask why. Or if it's around Christmas, if it's around Valentine's Day, really, you know, take that extra step to pay a bit more attention. If it's if they're coming in at 2 o'clock in the morning and you don't have a bed ready for them, what could you do? Okay, we've got a lounge area that you guys can stay in, and there's TV and refreshments at least until maybe 8 a.m. your bed's ready. You know, you guys can stay in there. But not providing that information won't really make them feel like that they're welcome. So maybe just using their first names, or ma'am or sir, depending on how their approach is to you, you can match that body language and then follow that approach forward. If they want you to call them James, and, you know, next time you'd want to call them James. But sometimes if they want you to call them sir or madam, you might call them sir or madam. It's just depending on the customer. Different cultures, if they're from, you know, a more east location of the world, Asian, South Asian, you know, you might not look at elderly people in the eyes. If you're looking at Western people from Western locations around the world, you know, you're looking at them straight. You're looking, you know, you want to be confident. So it's really, it varies from location to location. So you're paying attention to those key aspects. That's where it will be personal. That's how you will cater to those people. Remembering who they are, remembering their order. That's how you really become personal. Okay, offer extras and add-ons. Provide tailored and additional products and services. So think about, you know, extended warranties. Instead of having the customer only have a 1-year warranty, if they pay $30 more, they can extend that, and then they'd have peace of mind. Anything else you can add on. So let's say if we were selling biryani, we might want to sell a mango lassi, or you know, we could say, okay, we'd serve fresh lemonade, things like that. So here they've got laptop. If they're selling a laptop, you might in addition say, okay, would you like a laptop case to protect your laptop? Then there's damage protection, then there's free delivery, so things like that that you can add on to your product that might feel like you're adding extra value without hurting your pocket and making the customer feel that they've been taken care of. So when you're talking about a wedding caterer, providing table center pieces, you know, candy art, extra serving staff, champagne for guests on arrival at the venue, edible wedding flowers. So these are extra options that you can really add to the experience. You can obviously, you know, charge for them. It's not free, and you're getting paid, and it's something extra that makes them feel special, and it's an experience. So you're selling an experience. You're not just selling food. So you might want to adjust the venue. Maybe you're decorating the venue with these things, providing cakes. You know, adding these extra options allows you to bring in a bit more revenue, makes the customers a bit more happy. They don't have to run around to 10 different you know, businesses to offer these things. They can just come to you, and you're a one-stop shop. Alright, so activity 1E, with a peer discuss which optional add-ons or extras or tailored services may be applied to a flight, a phone contract, a restaurant meal. So if you're thinking about a flight, extra leg room, maybe a catered menu, so not just the standard items, but you could say, okay, we've got this Indian menu, or we've got a Arabian menu, or Greek, whatever. You might say we've got custom rooms in the plane, or a fully reclinable 180 degree seat, whatever it might be. More legroom, like I said before. Right. With a phone contract, you've got things such as international roaming, free SMS, unlimited talk, data, exceeding data, all those things. Okay, what will you do if the phone gets lost? Okay, insurance of the phone, things like that. So in a restaurant meal, we're thinking about, okay, what are we pairing the steak with? Oh, okay, wine. Okay, what are we pairing the meal with? Oh, dessert. So things like that. What will be the amount of people that come in? Okay, so if there's 8 people, this is what you suggest for them to buy, the extra catered services. You know, you're talking about this to your customers, so you're really thinking about what to give them. Which extras, add-ons, and tailored service options are offered by your company? How are these priced? So if you're thinking about our restaurant, you know, we're really talking about beverages and things that they can add on to the item. If you're talking about the functions, you know, we bring in cakes from external bakeries, and we get an external decorator to come in and decorate their party, things like that. Okay, so fill in those questions there. When you're ready, unpause the video, and then we'll start on to the next. Okay, 1.6, check actioning of special requests before customer delivery. So gift wrapping, you know, special messages on cards, where to leave the delivery, maybe, you know, if they're not home, at their neighbor's place, or behind, you know, their house, on their porch somewhere, not in the front. If they've got a special doorbell that allows them to open the door for you to leave the parcel, and then make sure you lock it after you deliver it. Adaptation to usual goods, example, you know, a customer who orders a candy package may request a swap from one item to another to cater to a nut allergy, for example. So if you're sending a basket of items and then you find out, okay, one of the customers can't eat this certain item, you might want to change it for another. So it's just having those options open for your guests so that they feel like they can have a bit of movement within the product range that you have going. Verifying special requests. In order to check that special requests have been actioned, it is necessary that you are able to identify where special requests are recorded, such as an order form or a customer profile on a computer database. So, we've got a website that they can put in special requests. On our online delivery systems, they've got special little option areas where they can tell us what sort of spice levels they want in their food, when to start cooking, as in when they'll start picking it up, what they can or can't eat, what to exclude out of those items, what sort of sizing, what the quantities they want. So there are a lot of options for our business, but you've got to think about, okay, if you're working at a hotel, what sort of options do they want? How many rooms? How many beds? How many people? What time? When will they come in? When will they leave? You're really thinking about where can they provide this information and how. Okay. Review orders placed in your company over the last week. So if you're thinking about our restaurant, you're looking at the orders made. Can you identify any special requests made by customers? What are these? How can you check if these requests have been actioned? So if a completed order has happened, the computer point of sale system will tell you where it, if we've done the extra mile, if we've gone there. If you think about the orders themselves, you'll look at the receipts. What sort of extras have we done? Have we, taken something out? Have we included something in the order, or have we done a special order? It could be gluten-free, could be dairy-free, things like that. You might want to check with the chef, take a report if he's done it, what his experience was it difficult, easy, can he do it again, things like that. Okay, where possible, complete a check to verify that a special request has been actioned. So in my case, we're always thinking about egg allergies and things like that. So a lot of customers might say, okay, I want this dish without egg, and that kind of makes it difficult, takes longer, but we do provide that product without egg, and if we can, we will definitely do so. So when we do, we tell the customer, look, it's going to take 5 extra minutes for that item to come out. Are you okay to wait a bit more? And as long as they're happy to wait, we provide that item to them. So as long as you kind of try and address it to the best of your ability, I think that's all you can do, really. It's not always possible to do that, otherwise it changes the product, but if you can, you should try. Okay, so complete that, unpause the video when you're ready, come back, and then we can go on to the next one. Right, 1.7, liaise with team members and suppliers to ensure efficient service delivery. So this is where we're talking to each other, making sure we can reduce the likelihood of mistakes being made or any delays occurring within the process. So you want to really involve written instructions or things online where they can follow, or on the electronic system that you have, so they can follow the step-by-step process, so you can remove any or the most amount of problems that they would face. Use good verbal communication and try and work efficiently with each other, because as long as everybody's playing their part, the customer will be happy. If someone really misses out, the product is not going to go there in time. It might be cold, it might not be the consistency that they want, the texture might be lost, it's not crispy, it's soggy. So things like that. If you take too long to service something, let's say for us, we create items, we get them ready to be delivered, and then the Uber driver takes too long, now the food becomes cold. So if he doesn't really try his best, it really doesn't matter. Ultimately, the customer's not going to be happy. Even if we have cooked it really well and we've done everything that we could from our end, if the food isn't hot and the customer's expecting hot food, they're not going to enjoy the meal. Alright, so liaise with suppliers, placing orders online, over the phone or in person, responding promptly to correspondence, chasing up suppliers, bringing incorrect orders to attention of the suppliers quickly, checking available stock levels. So these are really important. If you say, oh, I'm going to sell this X product, and then you go to your warehouse and you don't have it, it's going to be a problem with the customer because you told them you have it and now you don't. Some people are, relax and they go, alright, I know you tried, it's okay. And some people go, you told me, I didn't go buy it anywhere else, now there's no one there, you owe me. So what do you do then? Now you have to run around and make sure everything, if you can help the customer or not, and then hopefully this customer understands what's happening and then you can help them out, and then hopefully in the future they're a returning customer. But if you can't, most likely they're not going to come back to you for any future purchases, so that's where you go wrong. Okay. Activity 1G, create a graphic or write a short summary which shows the different roles of members in your team and how they relate, how they interrelate. How can all these different team members work more effectively as a team to provide better customer service? What were some requirements for liaising with suppliers? So the first question, if you're thinking about the kitchen, we're really looking at the customer service person gives the order to the kitchen manager would produce the or will give the order to the chef will produce the item which will be given back to the kitchen manager. They would pack it appropriately and then give it to the service person to give to the customer or give to a delivery driver who would now deliver that to the customer. So it could just be a simple box connecting arrows to the next and then following it back to the customer, because your endpoint is the customer. And then maybe you could connect the review back to the service staff, so you could say customer has given a review that has gone through to all of the team members. Alright, what may be some requirements for liaising with suppliers? You're making online purchase orders, you're putting in phone purchase orders, calling them, making sure they have enough stock, you're communicating with them on a consistent basis, they have your communication details, you have theirs, they know who to contact, the appropriate person for if something goes wrong, the location that they're going to deliver to, things like that. Okay, so finish that, unpause the video, come back, and we can go on to the next one. Alright, 1.8, share customer information with team members to ensure quality service. So when you're really taking information, it shouldn't be to an extent where it's considered private. Like if you're not a healthcare professional, you shouldn't be asking them what their blood type is. But if you are a restaurant, it is more than maybe asking them about their blood type is not what is best for your business. Maybe you can ask their delivery address, maybe you're asking their phone number, but you've got to understand where your limits are, especially. Okay, so customer information may include contact details, order details, special requests, payments, card numbers, or things like that, and any other necessary information. So this is where it's important that you do not store card numbers in your system, as people could hack your system and take people's payment information, and then you're in trouble. So if you are including systems, do not save people's payment or transaction details, as that will be a problem. Okay, so a customer database, online system, written instructions on order forms, verbal communication. Like it is listed here, verbal communication is the last thing you should be worried about. Always have a system in place so you've got the least amount of problems or procedures that you've got to follow. Set it out, make sure it's as narrow and straightforward as possible, so when somebody gets the process, they know what to do, and they can do it without opening their eyes. Okay. Activity 1H, select an order that you have recently taken, share the details of this order customer information verbally with your peer, and ensure that all the details are logged on the relevant online system where one exists. So this is where you'd be talking about the point of sale system, If you're taking orders over the phone, you're taking their order, what sort of spice levels they like, where their home location is, what's their best contact details, if they're paying over the phone or paying in cash, if they're paying by card, what are their details of the card, if they want it at a specific time, what time are they ordering this item for, things like that. Okay, so detail those below, and then once you're ready, unpause the video, come back, and we will go on to the next one. Okay, 2.1, identify problems with products and services and take immediate action to address before provision to customer. So if we're identifying problems with stock, we really want to think about how we're going to, if we're creating an item, we don't want to say it's a week-long special when we only have enough stock for 2 days. So thinking about the low stock supply, if you've got any wrong stock or shipping error, if the stock has been damaged, if you've come to the end of the cycle of a promotion and then there's no stock left. So you're really thinking about these things and then addressing the customer as they come in and what they can order in the future. Immediate action may include removing damaged products from shelves, recording lost or damaged stock according to the organizational procedure policy, ordering stock replenishments or bringing low stock to the attention of the relevant personnel, removing advertisements for promotions that have finished. So you don't want to have 20% off this Valentine's Day and then it be July. You know what I mean? You're out of date, you're out of touch, you need to step on that gas. Service problem may include absence of required staff. So there's nobody in the dining room, it's going to be a problem for any customers come in. They want to see people there talking, addressing them and then seating them accordingly. Unavailability of venues, facilities. So if you're closed, put it on Google, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, wherever you can get out this information. Put it on the newspaper, put it on your door. If you've got any delays with suppliers or equipment not working or any other delays, maybe you've got no chefs, so how can you make food? So letting your customers know this will help you. Okay, service problems may be identified by reviewing requirements and special requests in advance of service delivery, ensuring that all required items have been received, are in place, visiting facilities and venues in advance of events. So you're checking out, okay, do they have toilets? Do they have proper ventilation? Is the AC working? I've had people do weddings and then the AC isn't working, so the bride is sweating, all her makeup looks horrible. You've got all these elderly women and men just not happy, and they essentially just start walking out and they look all disheveled. They do not look perfect. So at the end of the photos look like they've all been playing soccer and they're now all sweaty. So yeah, having those equipment really in place and working really benefits you in the long run. Alright, so 2A, complete one of the following: either check for problems with products or check the problems with service. So identify any checklists or other resources that are used within your organization to provide structure to inventory, stocks, checks, and complete an inspection for any problems identified. Follow up the correct procedural response. Choose a service that is due to be delivered within the next few days. Check whether there are any potential problems for delivering this service. For any problems identified, follow up with correct procedural response. So this you would essentially write in here, okay, if you had any problems with stock. Okay, maybe you found damaged stock, you had to replace it, you had to put in a disposal report, and then you had to put in a purchase order with the supplier, restock the room, and then have the product available again for sale. For the service, if we're thinking about food, like I said, if there is no chef available, we can't have a food service. So we would essentially let our customers know that we don't have a active chef available. We will try and get one as soon as possible and notify you as soon as the service becomes available again. Simple. Alright, so when you're done with that one, unpause the video, come back to me, and we can continue on with the next one. Okay, so 2.2, anticipate delays in product and service provisions and regularly update customers on expected outcomes. So if there are delays anticipated, deliveries from third parties are delayed, if there's equipment malfunction, stock is damaged, staff absences have occurred, or there's been miscommunication, you need to let the customers know, because they're expecting something and you're going to not be able to service them in any way. You'll need to let them know what you are going to do for them in that case, how you're going to solve this problem, if not, what can be done. Okay, updating customers by a phone call, email, sending SMSs, or having, if you're sending products by delivery, having a tracking system or a delivery system tracking, online kind of progress report, anything like that will really help. Alright, 2B, give some examples of what when delays might be anticipated. So miscommunication, absence of staff, not having enough product, things like that. Using your organization systems for organizing customer data, retrieve and contact details for 3 customers. So this, you want to kind of write down name, phone number, email for 3 different customers that you have, that you know. It's simple, pretty easy. Name, contact number, email. That's it. Alright, advise customers of alternative products and services. So, you've got to think about what their budgets are, if you can adjust to their budget, if their plans are changing, the number of people that will come, the size of the venue that they need, if they're not happy with the current service that you're trying to provide, how you can adjust it, or if they want it bigger, smaller, whatever. Okay, so in this one you need to think about a customer's alternative product. For, let's say, if I say that they're going to get married in a park, you're going to do catering. Now they've increased the amount of portion size from 40 people to 50 people. You need to increase the portion. So what will you do in this case? Okay, you're going to advise them about the amount of food that you will add and how much it will cost, how much time you'll need to adjust to that. If you if the product is seasonal, then you've run out of that product. How will you change or exchange that product for something else? You might have options where instead of providing one sort of item, you're providing 2 different options, so it kind of alleviates the stress, things like that. Okay, once you've done that, come back to me, unpause the video, we can go to the next one then. Alright, 2.4, proactively compensate for service difficulty in line with own level of responsibility and organizational procedure. So this is really about taking responsibility of what you've done. If you provided a food item that's off, or if you can't really do what you said you're going to do, you need to compensate them. You need to give their money back. What are you going to do? You might say, okay, next time you come back, we will take care of you. This is what we're going to do. Okay, at a reduced rate, or okay, we might provide a free service at the next time, or a discount voucher, or for a future event, or some small gifts, or maybe even just giving them special attention on their next occasion. So thinking about how you can make them happy because you're in the wrong. So if you're the one that's creating the problem, you need to figure out how you're going to make the customer happy. And it's just about really seeing what they need, seeing what you've done, and what's the best kind of solution for the problem. Limits of compensation. There'll be limits to what we can be compensated for to a dissatisfied customer base on the value of the transaction, the severity of the error, organizational policy and procedure, and the responsibility level of the member of staff handling the issue. So it's, if it's $1,000 item, you definitely need to get them another one. But if it's a $10 item, let's say, next time you can give them a $10 voucher. So it really depends on what level of problem it is. If it's a serious problem, you need to take serious action. Alright, so for a staff member with your level of responsibility, what compensation options are you authorized to offer for each of the following? So if it's damaged goods or unsatisfactory service, you can say, oh, we'll give you a replacement, or we can give you a discount card for your next purchase. If it's a delay, you could say, oh, we'll give you an add-on for free, or a small gift, or a free drink, things like that. Rudeness from staff, you would apologize straight away for the staff's behavior. And then you might say, oh, we're really sorry for the staff's actions. This is what we're going to do, such as giving you an upgrade on your room, or a personal apology from the staff and a small gift basket to show our apology. So complete that, unpause the video, come back to me, and we'll move on to the next one. So we've got 2.5, provide ongoing internal feedback on service issues and suggest improvements. So we're looking at two types, formal and informal. So we've got surveys, interviews, structured questioning, and then there's observations and casual discussions with customers or workers in general. So service issues may include delays, lateness of delivery, under-delivering on expectations, rudeness or lack of professionalism, lack of cohesion in resolving issues, lack of contact from service staff being screened, pushiness from staff, they're trying to sell something that the customer doesn't really want, overzealous in promoting offers. So you're really having to think about what's really happening there and then addressing the issue from there. So when you're resolving issues, it may involve training or retraining staff, and customer service issues persist. You might want to implement some disciplinary steps, such as putting a member of staff under review, and especially they might lose their job if they don't get better at their job. So it's not always the ideal option, but some steps have to be done if they're underperforming in their job role. Okay, so activity 2E, observe a peer in their work practice and take notes. Give feedback using your knowledge of principles of good customer service and organizational policy and procedure to comment on how they could improve. So essentially you're going to be noting down on bad practices that they have, what good practices that they have. So that they're smiling, they're greeting customers, they're seating customers, giving food promptly. If you're going to have bad practices, maybe that they're not asking them to take away plates, that they're leaving the table in a dirty position. Maybe the customers aren't really satisfied with the food options that they're suggesting, as they aren't being able to be paired together. So they're suggesting sweets with maybe sour items, and it's not really tasting good together. So things like that, and then suggest how they can improve. So you could say better your product knowledge on the menu, or slow down and talk to customers, really understand what they need, things like that. So complete that question, come back to me, unpause the video, and then we can move on to the next one. Okay, resolve customer complaints. Use questioning techniques to establish and agree on nature, possible cause, and details of complaints. So questioning techniques, you're using funnel questions, you're clarifying questions, or probing questions. So essentially you're making sure what has happened, why it happened, and what could we do for it to not happen again. So you're really trying to narrow down why it happened and think about what possible solutions you will have in the future and how to avoid these things from happening. So you want to do a role play scenario with a customer comes to you with a complaint. During this role play, use a range of questioning techniques, establish and agree on the nature, possible cause, and details of the complaint. So think about a complaint when you're working together. Think about the three types of, so you want to mention the three types of questionings you want to do. Think about how you're going to solve the problem. So mention those things in depth, and then I think that should be it for that question. When you've done that, come back to me and we can move to the next one. Okay, assess impact on customer. So we're really thinking about what sort of inconvenience we've caused. Is the issue, really wasting the customer's time, and is it causing them frustration? Distress or suffering, has this really caused them emotional or physical distress, and are they suffering from any mental issues after this has happened? Think about the damage of the customer's reputation, or the reputation of the business or the company. So how has this problem really affected the business and the customer's reputation? Has it become a problem for both of them or one of them? How can we solve it? In order to assess the impact, it must be determined whether the customer had reasonable expectations that were not met. So the expectations have to be reasonable. I can't be asked as a restaurant to provide my meal to them, in the same style in their home. I could do table service at my own venue, but I might not be able to do that at their home. So is the complaint reasonable? The customer's time was wasted, the customer's experienced injury or harm, the reputation of customers or the customer's business was damaged, the customer's experienced usual distress due to issues originating in the company. So these are really things that you have to consider. Was it something out of the ordinary? Did it happen to where that it created some problems between you and the business? Did the customer feel uncomfortable? Were they injured? Things like that, and how we're going to fix them. So 3B, describe an occasion where you have been involved or witnessed an angry customer making a complaint. Describe many details as you can remember. So think about when you had an interaction, or maybe you were the angry customer making the complaint. What sort of things did you detail? What were you angry about, and what did the business do, or what did you try and do for the customer? Discuss the scenarios and explain what you would consider the impact on the customer in each scenario, and the steps you might take for further assessment if necessary. So think about maybe a scenario where a customer has been served food that is not consumable. What steps would you do? Think about a customer that has ordered or has booked a room in the hotel and the room is dirty. What would you do? Think about if the customer has booked a flight and now they don't have a seat on the flight. What could you do? Things like that. So use those three scenarios. Give me possible outcomes that you would, take actions for, and then finalize the question, finish it off, come back, unpause the video, and we can move on to the next one. Alright, 3.3. Take responsibility for resolving complaints in a professional manner and using communication techniques to assist in their management. So resolving complaints. Complaints may be resolved by determining the nature and cause and details of complaints, offering compensation in accordance with organizational policy and procedure and own level of responsibility, initiating escalation procedure for complaints that cannot be resolved personally. So it's really important, if you can't solve it, get someone else to, because we need an ultimate solution. We can't have this lingering over the business. If it's compensation or if it's some sort of apology that will help, try and really find out what will solve this problem and how quickly can we do it, because the longer it goes on for, the worse it will get in most cases. Communication techniques: active listening, eye contact, attentive body language, reflecting and summarizing what has happened, apologetic tone, calmness and patience. So acknowledge the customer and the issue, maintaining a helpful and understanding attitude, Describe what you are going to do to fix the problem and confirm that customer agrees with the resolution. So a lot of times people have complaints but have no idea how or what they want to solve the problem. So in most cases for food, if you can do it quickly enough, it's just, if it's a problem with the food and it's genuine and you know that the problem is genuine, you should be quickly replacing the food as soon as possible, and then maybe giving an additional, little item to say sorry for the inconvenience, or some sort of reduction on the price, something just to show that you appreciate them, and then that this doesn't go any further. Alright, 3, which communication techniques might you use to resolve complaints? So you're thinking about using proper body language, affirming their problem, summarizing everything, making sure that they have a reasonable outcome, making sure that they have had a solution that is meaningful to them, and then contacting them again on how they felt with the solution that was provided, things like that. What is it meant by equality and diversity? How does this apply to customer service, and how might you apply it in interaction with customers and special needs? So equality and diversity is that everybody is treated equally, whether rich or poor, male, female, trans, whatever it might be. Diversity, that everybody's given an equal shot, that they're not being segregated or disrespected or being treated unfairly just because they are one or the other. So everybody needs to be treated fairly, everybody needs to get an equal shot, everybody needs to get a fair go. Okay, so in the sense of any customer issues, we're not giving one person something out of reach and over the line where somewhere else where we're not helping them at all, even though the problems are exactly the same. So we're treating everybody equally, giving the exact same solution in either or case. Okay, finish those, come back to me, unpause the video, and we'll move on to the next one. 3.4, determine options to resolve complaints and promptly analyze and decide on optimal solutions, taking organizational constraints into account. So we're thinking about resolving complaints, so we're going to offer refunds or replacements for damaged or malfunctioning goods, finding alternative options for service issues or underperformance. We're going to offer compensation in situations where goods or services can't be fixed, escalating complaints to more senior personnel where they cannot be resolved by on-the-ground staff members. We're considering the constraints, so this may require that you take into account the value of customers' purchase and the cost of possible options for resolving their complaint, whether a customer is a repeat customer, the attitude of the customer, validity of the customer's complaint, impact on the customer, impact on the company's reputation if the complaint is escalated or is advertised or written on online platforms, things like that. Okay, so outline your organization's policy and procedure for resolving the complaints below. So if it's a shipping error, if it's gone to the wrong place, we would first want to identify who was responsible for the delivery, if it's been delivered wrong, why it was delivered wrong, and then we would proceed on to delivering the product again. If the customer doesn't want the product again, we would try and offer a refund. For damaged goods of poor quality, we would immediately reschedule another delivery or organize another product to be sent out to the customer, whether in the venue or to their home. If the customer has been mistreated by staff, we would remove the staff away from their section. We would apologize to them, get a newer staff member to address them, and we would apologize with a small gift or deduction on their bill or any sort of compensation that we can do, as long as it's reasonable. We're not looking at people who are trying to take advantage of us. We're looking at where the problems are genuine, okay, and who's deciding what the genuine problem is. Okay, you need to think about, if you were the customer, would you be doing this? And if you would, then yes, it's genuine. Okay, so then escalate the problem onto your manager. Tell them that you want them to take action. The manager will go and address them properly. Where there are multiple options for resolving a complaint, how would you decide on the optimal solution? So in my case, if I had a problem, I wouldn't want to figure out what's the quickest way to solve the problem. And then secondly, what solution will make the customer most happy and the business lose the least amount of money. So we want to find those three things: quickest time, make the customer most happy, and make the business lose the least amount of money. Which organizational constraints would apply when deciding on optimal solution for resolving complaints? So the organizational procedure that's going to be affected is, does the person that's taking the step, do they have authority to take the step? If not, now they have to go and talk to a manager or somebody higher up to take those steps. That's where that will be affected. So if you have an idea, and if it's not possible, so if you're thinking about a solution, yes, it is a solution, but it might actually be something that's out of hand of the company, so it's not possible. So those types of things. So if it's possible to do that possible outcome and resolving the complaint, or if we have to follow the chain and if we don't have the required access or permission, then we have to get someone who does to forward on that solution. Okay, so complete that question and unpause the video, come back to me. We'll head on to the next one. Okay, 3.5. Act swiftly to resolve complaints and prevent escalation in consultation with customers and to customer satisfaction. So swift resolution, taking action the same day where others are involved, following up quickly if no response received, informing the customer of what action has been taken. So when you're addressing the customer, you're going to say, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing for you. I'm going to be checking up with you tomorrow, and I will be letting you know what we're going to be doing moving forward. So this is my detail, this is my reference. If you need any further clarification, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. You can get in touch with me on this number, etc., etc. Okay. Contact may be made to confirm receipt of a written complaint, to offer standard compensation, to explore which alternative compensation would be acceptable to the customer where standard compensations are considered insufficient, to inform them when action is taken, to reassure the action is being taken. So we're going to make sure that we're going to do something, and then we're going to check if it has happened and how effective was the solution. Okay. So a customer is offered a customized product which does not match their order description. The mistake was made by a supplier responsible for creating one of the customizable components of the product. The customer has brought the issue to your attention to resolve. How would you act swiftly to resolve this complaint and prevent escalation in consultation with customer and the customer satisfaction? So you essentially want to make sure the initial order was possible by the customer, and if it was, why didn't it happen? If it wasn't, why didn't it happen? Okay, then once you've clarified that, then you want to make sure what the customer would like in return. You can provide certain examples. So let's say if they're ordering a suit and they want a custom lining of the suit, you could say, unfortunately the supplier of that material has run out, but we've got these possible matches that also reflect the look that you are going for. Please choose one with no extra cost. We will provide the item to you as soon as possible. Simple. Once the solution has been done, you want to get in touch with the customer, ask them how they felt about the solution, and if it matched their idea of what they wanted and if they were satisfied. Okay. Alright, so complete that. Think about what I just said. Think about what are the steps that you need to follow. Complete the question, unpause the video, and then we will go on to the next one. Turn complaints into opportunities to demonstrate high quality customer service. So this is where you want to kind of use what you've got and turn it around and improve, the standing with the customer. So this will really reflect good on you, and hopefully you can win the customer back. So customer complaints should be seen as an opportunity to demonstrate high quality customer service that can regain a disappointed customer's trust and make sure that the company maintains a positive reputation even when mistakes have been made. So recall any complaint that you have handled during your time in customer service. How did you turn this into an opportunity to demonstrate high quality of customer service? Could more have been done to use the complaint as an opportunity to demonstrate high quality customer service? So in my case, with food, I always try and replace it if there's an issue. I always try and replace it. Go out there, talk to the customer, and see if they were happy with the replacement item, and hopefully that, I reassure them that this mistake will not happen again. Thanks for bringing it to our attention, and we will try and never allow this to happen again. Simple as that. In certain cases, I would stop everything else. I will, if their item is a problem, if there's a problem on their item, I stop all the other the dockets in the kitchen, and then produce their item, send it out as quick as possible. So, and we want to see if this problem is happening consistently. So if you are in a management role, you would keep an eye on me to see if I continually, do the same problem over and over again. So you'd want me to change that. Alright, so write a description for that, complete it, come back to me after you've done that, and then we can move on to the next one. Okay, 3.7, provide internal feedback on customer complaints and feedback, and allow required follow-up in order to avoid future occurrence. We're thinking about how quickly can we do it, how specific is our resolution, was it objective, and was the solution constructive? Is it constructive? The feedback that they gave us, is that constructive? Or are they just giving us feedback to be mean to us, and it's not really constructive? Are they outlining specific details of what happened, or are they just saying this was bad, this was bad, this was bad? Or would they say the dish presented itself but was not bright, the vegetables were decolored, and the whole dish tasted salty, the chocolate mousse was too sweet and was not to the texture that I wanted, was not airy, was too liquidy, things like that. You're thinking about, are they being specific? Are they telling us, in the right time? Are they telling us a review 2 years later? It doesn't really matter if they're saying the chicken wrap is the worst that they've ever had, and I stopped selling chicken wraps 2 years ago. Is it really the right time for them to give us this feedback? Alright, organizational policy and procedure that this may cover. When feedback is given, how often feedback is given, regular performance reviews, incident reviews, how feedback is given, required records of feedback, appropriate follow-up. For example, training or retraining, disciplinary procedure, follow-up, performance reviews at a later date. So we're looking at those reviews, and then we're thinking, where can the possible trainings occur or improvements occur? We implement those possible improvements or training, and then has it really improved our performance? If it has, how much has it improved by? Or if it has not, why? What was the lacking? That's the potential outcome of the failed procedure or training. Okay, so activity 3G, gather into groups of 3, or 2 members of the group will perform a role play or customer service assistant handling a customer complaint, which you will observe. So you guys can get into groups. When the role play is finished, give personal feedback to the customer assistant and explain which follow-up will be required. So you want to think about what sort of feedback that you're giving to the customer assistant, meaning the service provider. So if they're being patient, they're not being quick enough, maybe they are not addressing the customer needs, and then you want to see, okay, where you're lacking. Maybe you don't have enough training or knowledge in the area that you are situated in, so your job is not at your skill level. Maybe you need to go down a bit lower, or you need to be trained for your job a bit better. And when should they do some training? Essentially, note those things down, and then you should be good to go. Yeah, so complete that question, come back to me. So all of you guys will need to go through this, complete it, and then come back and we can move to the next one. So 3.8, review and evaluate complaints and solutions to enhance responses to future issues. We're thinking about the number of complaints that we get, the frequency, types of complaints, complaint response time, average time taken to resolve a complaint, the average cost of resolution, average call length, percentage of resolved complaints, percentage of complaints handled by frontline staff. In our industry, most customers, they tend not to complain face to face. They tend to go off site and then give a complaint, and by the time that they've already gone, they tend not to come back, so we can't really do a solution. The only thing that we can do is reply on the review itself and see if we can get the customer to contact us so we can provide a solution. So sometimes this does take a bit of time, but just depends on you know, how genuine the complaint was. Sometimes they're just not happy, so they don't really care. Okay, use the appropriate database or analytical tools from within your organization to review and evaluate one aspect of your organization's customer service. So we're thinking about the number of complaints, or like I said before, how we handle our complaints, what we do in the case of those things, you know, evaluate the complaints online, see what we've done, you know, how is our response. If we get a review it, we appreciate that they've taken the time to take the review. We tell them, you know, we really want them to get in touch with us so we can have an in-depth understanding of what the complaint was, and then we will definitely try and give them the best solution possible that is in our hands. And that's it. Simple. And that's what we try and do, because our service is consistent as much as it can be. We don't change staff regularly. We don't have a massive number of staff, so everybody knows each other. Most customers know our service staff, you know, so it's, you know, regular. We're all regulars in the area. If customers have issues, we try and solve it as soon as possible, because most of our customers are regular customers. And if they have problems, it will be a genuine problem. Okay, so finish that. Once you've written down the evaluation and the procedures that we follow, how you felt about our procedures, can there be any improvements, what the improvements are, and yeah, detail those in your reply, and then come back to me once you are done. Unpause the video and we can move on to the next one. Okay, so 4.1. Promote repeat business by offering promotional services according to individual empowerment and organizational procedure. So promotional services can be customer loyalty schemes, sales offers, free shipping, offer product upgrades, repairs, memberships with increased benefits, product service bundles, free trials, discount on product trade-in. We may consider offers where it can be in conjunction with other offers, so you can join two offers together, you know, have fine prints on coupons and vouchers that will apply to certain offers. Customers are eligible for promotions or certain promotions if it's individual empowerment, or limitations may apply. You know, adjusting your policies and procedures for promotional services if they apply. So if usually you don't take a certain amount of customers at a certain time, maybe just for this once you're willing to take a small amount or a large amount of customers as a promotional, you know, activity that you're doing. Or you might be holding an event for a certain group or a certain customer that you wouldn't usually be doing, just as a promotion. Alright, so 4A, which promotional services are currently running within your organization? both temporary and permanent. So you might think about menu specials, 2-for-1s, bundles. Think about what else? Online promotions, online discounts, using our new online delivery partners. What sort of promotions are there? Things like that. Pickup prices, dine-in prices, delivery prices differing from location to location. Time, so things might be like cheaper in a less frequent time during the day, where the normal time it might be more expensive when it's busier, things like that. So surging prices. So think about the possible outcomes and what terms and conditions of these, when and whom may they be offered to. So if you think about frequent purchasing cards, they might get if they do 10 purchases of kebabs, the 11th kebab might be free, or if they have 10 meals, the 11th meal is free, things like that. So what sort of terms? It might need to be done within a specified amount of time, such as 3 months or 10 months or 1 year. Who can claim? No employees can't claim this special offer. Only customers with no relations to any employees may claim this offer, or they may need to give you their email address and contact information to claim such offer, things like that. Okay, so note those down, and then once you're done, come back and we can move on to the next one. Okay, so 4.2, maintain customer profiles to enhance service delivery. So we're really making sure we have their details, so their name. When they call, we know, okay, this number is connected to John, and we can say John, and then they go, oh, okay, they know who they're talking to. And their food preference, what spice they want, what sort of food they want, what they've ordered before, what we can suggest again, their age, their birthday, where they're located, so their delivery location, what sort of gender they are, what sort of online behaviors they have purchasing wise, where they purchase from, how they pay, what sort of interest they have, what sort of lifestyle they have, what their likes, dislikes, things like that will really allow you to cater to that customer and allow you to sell more specific products to them if you have these informations in place. Okay, so maintaining customer profile information may be added or updated on a customer profile when a customer places an online order for the first time, a customer places a new order, a customer subscribes to a service, a customer had a discussion regarding their goods and services with a staff member that requires further action or review. So for this activity for B, what information may be stored in a customer profile? So we got the names, give me about 5, so age, location, payment preferences, likes, dislikes, things like that. Okay, what is your organization system for organizing customer profiles? Is the system online, offline? So our organization is online. We have a point of sale system called Loyverse, so Loyverse. This is an online system where we can put down customer profiles, how frequently they visit, what are their purchasing habits, their time of visit, what foods they like, what sort of spice levels they like. So this is all connected with other platforms such as Uber and DoorDash, menu logs. All this information comes in, and then we can compile it and we can send off emails to them if we have any specials or things like that. Okay, so online. Alright, how are customer profiles maintained within your organization? So like I said before, this is maintained on our point of sale system, which has an online website connection and a database. So we have all our information on that database, such as emails, location, all that kind of stuff, what sort of food they like to purchase. So if we do have special deals, we can send them emails, text messages, things like that. Okay, and we regularly update them if they do an online purchase or if they do a booking through our website for a table. This updates everything, and the point of service will update the database as well. Alright, so once you've done that, come back to me and then we can move to the next one. Unpause the video when you're ready. Okay. Okay, 4.3, provide personalized service to customers in a professional manner that builds repeat business. So we're trying to cater to the customer, okay? We want it to look professional. We don't want it to feel pushy. We want the customer to feel like that this is genuine. This is something that they need. We don't want it just to be feeling like another opportunity that we're trying to just sell them something, okay? So we don't want to have scripted conversations. We don't want to have like a step-by-step, okay, say this when they... No, understand where they're coming from. Understand the genuine actions that you want to do. You know, remembering details about customers and how you're going to address those things. Acknowledging customers and their situations. Engaging with them, you know, effectively. Listening to them and their needs. You know, responding to the customer's tone of voice or body language. Being approachable and sincere, and being flexible is very important. So if you think, okay, you're not going to finish the purchase today, you can go, no, that's no problem. I'll take down your number and I can give you a call back for next week and see if your situation is changed, or if you still want to go ahead with a purchase. Then we can make a final decision on next Monday. So be flexible, don't be pushy. Make sure that the customer's feeling free to do the purchase, because then they're more willing to do the purchase. If they're getting pushed into it, they'll most likely back out and then cut you off and then hang up, or say, sorry, I don't want to buy it. Simple. So demonstrate the delivery of a personalized service in an interaction with a customer. So write down how you would be professional, demonstrate how you would personalize the service, demonstrate your interaction, how you would approach them, with what sort of body language, what sort of approach, how you'd talk to them. So if I was talking to them, I would approach them, say, hi, how are you today? How can I help you? What are you after? Takeaway? Are you after eat here? Are you after a delivery or any other specialized order? And if, depending on what they would say next, I would seat them or give them a menu and then help them forward. You want to be friendly, you want to use positive body language, you want to essentially want them to feel comfortable with your presence around them. So if maybe they want to sit by themselves, the best thing for you to do is give them some distance, let them wait, and just let them know, look, I'll be at the counter. When you're free, just let me know and I can come and take your order. Simple as that. And some people want to talk to you, get you to answer questions about the menu items, and that's good too. You can stand there and show your knowledge and let them know that, you know, the possible answers that they want. Simple as that. Alright, complete that, finalize that question, and then when you're ready, unpause the video and come back to me. Okay, so 4.4, provide tailored products and services based on customer profile. So for example, senior discount offers being advertised only for over 65. Makeup being promoted to women. Oh, not anymore though. I feel like more and more men are also getting into makeup, so you could promote that too, but it just has to be correctly marketed. You don't want to have women's marketing for men, which will just be a waste to you. So maybe you'd market men's makeup for outside when they're traveling or playing sport, so that it's not it's sweat resistant and it makes them look great even when they're doing the hardest of tasks, things like that. Childcare products being promoted to parents. Home insurance being promoted to homeowners. So there's no point promoting home insurance to people who don't own homes. There's no point in doing that. Other uses of customer data, creating a more personalized shopping experience, customizing promotions and special offers, to identify gaps in the products, services you offer, and to offer products, services that fill these gaps, to improve customer service, addressing a customer by name, to allow customers to review their own spending habits. Okay, so I think this is the last question. Before we address this one, I want you guys to know that you're going to be finishing up the learner workbook now with this activity. You've still got your multiple choice knowledge questions, then you've got your skill assessment and performance assessments. So we've got those assessments still left. So once you finish this, you're more than welcome to do the multiple choice and knowledge questions, and then physically we'll do the skill and performance. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to email me at Wiseman Education, admin at wisemaneducation.com.au. Just shoot me an email, or if you want, just get in touch with your trainers and they will be able to help you the best way possible. Okay, so for this question, how are customers segmented into groups by your organization for the purpose of targeted marketing? You may be available to view these segmentations or use general knowledge of how your organization markets to its consumers. So we're thinking about how are customers being segmented. Oh, family. For us, it's singles, couples, families, right? So we know if it's a family, most likely it might be 3 or more people. If it's a single person, it's 1 person. So the amount of purchasing power that 1 person will have is not going to be the same as the amount of purchasing power a family will have. So if you're selling, you want to sell more to the family, as you will make more money in that sense. But if your business is more towards single people, you will need to sell more products to single people to make the more amount of money, or have more single people come through to make more money. So then you're having to have single person tables to sell more items than compared to, like, let's say a family oriented restaurant where you've got an a la carte menu and they choose off the menu for 4 people depending on the seating that you have. So you're really targeting your marketing to the people that best fit your business. Okay, you're also thinking about how are we going to market to the consumers. You're thinking about SMS marketing. You're thinking about emailing, calling. You might do flyers. You might do posters outside. You might go to special events and then target your customers physically and hand them flyers. So things like that. Aside from targeted marketing, how else might an organization use its customer data to provide tailored products and services? So we're looking at the habits of people, we're looking at what they're buying, what's popular, what's not popular, and we're getting rid of what's popular, and we're asking for reviews and possible improvements for the business in the future, and then whatever's coming up most frequently we can add to our menu items. If it's something that they want to have, we can get rid of something that's not selling really well and put that product in. Alright, so once you guys have answered that, your learner workbook should be completed. So once you've completed that, send that to your trainer who is associated with your class, and then move on to your multiple choice questions and your knowledge questions. Alright, so your assessor will provide you with further guidance in completing these. If you've got any suggestions or any feedback, or if you just got any questions, don't hesitate to email me, and I'll see you in the next one.